Right, hello again. We are back out at Westmoor, and I would say this is a vlog, but it's not quite a vlog. We're going to talk you through the session and the bits and pieces that we're using. Some lovely new bits. So as I say, new, not particularly new to Catteran, but new to us. But the session's going well. We have managed a couple of fish, and actually quite a nice one, which fought like an absolute demon. I mean, I don't mind telling you, I thought the hook was going to pop out at any moment after about 25 minutes of acrobatics and typical post-spawning fish, but surely you'll agree, a cracking fish. What we're going to do, I think, for the purpose of this little video is talk you through the session, what we're doing, what we're using, how we're using it, and how we've approached this this swim. What we've got here is it's basically a new bay, so it's been dug out fairly recently. Don't quote me on how long, but I would say within the last certainly within the last 12 months. I think Lee will correct me if I'm wrong, but something like that. And it's a really nice area of the lake because you've essentially got your own lake. What we've done is we've actually booked out 2 swims, but we're fishing in a double. So you've got a double which we're set up in, the single behind me, and you've got about, I mean, the maximum range is about 85 yards to the marker. I mean, they're pretty good here. You know exactly where your borders are because you've got markers in the pegs, you know, out in the lake. Now, when we got here, the marker was visibly moving, so carp were obviously rubbing themselves up against it, and you know, so our initial plan was, right, get wrapped up, we'll fish either side of it, 2 rods each, and then we'll explore the margins. We've both got really, really nice margins either side of us. Now, you would have put your bottom dollar on getting a bite off the what would, I suppose you could call, open water spots. It didn't work out like that. We did have fish on us. You know, I'm scratching my head a little bit, as is Andy, as to how we didn't get a pickup. Whether they're just coming in there to rub up against the post and clean themselves off and, you know, sort of not really there to feed or not, I don't know. But as I say, for whatever reason, we didn't get a pickup off there. But I decided to feed as you guys look at it, right hand margin, and leave it. And I left it, and I was going to fish it today. This is day 2, by the way, so we've been here for 24 hours. I was seeing fish show there, and you know what it's like. After a bit, I thought, do you know what? I've got to stick a rod on it. And actually, after speaking to Lee, you know, he was like, look, they're probably homing into the sound of you feeding it. They'll come and they'll eat and they'll go, was the impression that I got. So I thought, let's get a rod on it. And literally, I cast a rod onto the spot, went to walk round to put some bait on over the top of it, because you can actually walk around, it's a real high bank. Went to put some bait on it, and before I got halfway around, it was off with that cracking mirror carp. And yeah, you know, so game on. About a couple of hours later, same spot, repeated the process, got the rig in place, walked round, put some bait on it, and you know, within about, I don't know, 30 minutes of doing that, I had another one, only a small one, about 12 pounds. But since then, it's gone quite quiet. Now, having said that, this place isn't really known for night bites. But so I'm kind of thinking, you know, the bite started about 6 o'clock yesterday, so I brought the rods in and rested the swim. I'm going to keep trickling a bit of bait in, so if they ghost over the spot, you know, then they can have a look or have a little feed without any pressure whatsoever and get them back out there about 6 o'clock. Right, well, good morning. I say good morning, I think it's more like, what time we got, Andy? 11:30. So yeah, still the morning. Just to check in from when we last caught up. Managed a couple of nice fish actually. So we've had the big common out of here, albeit spawned out, but still an immaculate fish. Must have had that at 1 o'clock this morning, and this place isn't known for night bites. And to be honest with you, the way things have panned out, I was looking forward to a good night's sleep, because you know what it's like. Long journey down, well, personally myself, it takes me a good 24 hours to get settled in. And you know, so on the second night, I was hoping for a good night's sleep, and bite time has been 5 o'clock. Between sort of 4 and 7, I would say, has been our chances. And it was like that on the first night. And again on the second night, where you know, same scenario. So I was thinking, right, be able to get my head down, get some filming done today, catch up with everybody, and let you know what's been happening. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, kind of a breamish kind of bite, and it turned out to be the big common. Andy had a cracking 20 as well yesterday. And so all in all, I mean, you know, Westmoor, the sandpit, is still a relatively new fishery, but the fish are coming on in leaps and bounds. You know, some cracking fish, but there's still a lot of, you know, I wouldn't say it's a runs water, but it's as close as you're going to get to a runs water without it being super easy. That's how I'd put it. So yeah, just to say what we've been doing in a little bit more detail compared to yesterday. So behind me, we've got sort of, I don't know, give or take 100 yards squared of water before the lake goes off and then goes right round the corner, and you know, you've got 12 acres. We'll get some footage of the lake and how it pans off round the corner. All the swims are really cleverly mapped out, in my opinion. You know, down here, if anybody's thinking about fishing this area of the lake or booking this area of the lake, we are in a swim called Alfie's. So and what you've got is you've got a double, and then where I did the filming yesterday, where I caught up with you guys yesterday, that's a single peg. Just to give you a quick recap, we started off behind me. Whether you can see it or not, I don't know. There's a red marker pole, right? That is your boundary. And I don't know if I said yesterday, when we got here, fish were hitting it. There's obviously fish there, which made us think, well, the fish ain't too far away from it. Let's use that as a marker. Come either side of it, spod and stick baits and span 4 rods across it. Now that did not work. So soon sussed that out after the first night without a bite on it. And having seen fish in either edge, we concentrated our approach on the top, for me personally, the top end of the margin, where I've been walking round, feeding and then casting 20 wraps using another red marker, which is a boundary marker, as a rough guide, and fishing rods, you know, a couple of rod lengths apart, so they're kind of arcing out, because you've got a bar there, right? So about a rod length and a half off, you're right on top of it. I say a bar, it's like a plateau. You're right on top of a plateau, and if I'm fanning the way that I'm fanning the rods, a rod length-ish apart, using a tree line marker, that you've got a horizon marker above the bank, which again we'll get some footage of. It basically means I'm exploring the depths, I'm walking around, scattering the bait with a spoon. And something to bear in mind, guys, if a fishery is well run, it's well fed, right? And you don't feed a fishery with a spom or a bait boat, okay? You feed a fishery with a bait spoon. And the sound of those pellets going in, you know, the sound of your boilies going in, whatever you're putting in. I mean, we're feeding a mixture of mad baits, P-fish boilie in 18s and 12s. As I said before, they have been glugged up in calonis and some lake water just to soften them up and take on some extra liquids for attraction. And also the house pellet. Never underrate the house pellet on any fishery because it's what they're fed with, so it's a safe bet for them. I don't really think it's any coincidence that we've tripped up some of the, well, definitely the more wary fish in the lake. That original mirror hadn't been out for 3 years. The big common is not a regular visitor to the bank. Andy's fish, not particularly regular visitor to the bank. We're fishing in very similar ways. So Andy's doing the same thing, except he's walking up the margin, dropping his rigs by hand, you know, off the rod tip and battling through the undergrowth with his rods out, you know, over the marginal sort of greenery, if you like, and then placing his rods on the rest. So very similar baiting approach, exactly the same bait. Slight difference in rigs. The rig that I'm on is it's using Cobra, which is a really nice braided material, coated braid, long shank hook, tied slip D style with a snowman on top of it, small snowman. And is on a slip D multi-rig, which is made from Enduro for the soft section and Phantom fluorocarbon for the boom section, if you like, that's combied on. Reason being is Andy has got, I say, the luxury, you know, he's dropping his rig, so obviously it's sand and the sand is quite firm and there's definitely firmer spots, but I'm chucking a 4-ounce lead 80 yards, so I would rather fish something with a bit of suppleness in it that will, you know, just in case the lead plugs a bit, I'm still going to get a good presentation. A couple of blobs of putty up there, absolutely perfect. We've got another night to go. And what I'm going to do today is repeat the process, which is, and this is worth noting, bite time, I'm not sure if I've said this. If I've said this already, I apologise. Bite time seems to be around between 4 and 7 o'clock. Waste of time at the moment, I feel, having the rods out for all day. So I'm taking the rods in the day. I'm feeding a couple of times on the area with the spoon, and then round about 4 o'clock, chucking my rigs over, going back round, feeding up with the spoon over the top again. So maybe feeding 3 times. You know, that might sound like a lot, but especially if you're using pellet in the mix, that pellet in warm water will break down. Okay, so depending on, so I'm starting off with a bit more pellet in the mix first thing when I feed, and less boilie, and then towards the end of the night where I'm expecting more bites and expecting more fish to visit and feed, I'm putting more boilie out than I am pellet. Definitely working, you know. So before I go, the most bait I put out was last night, and that's the first night bite that we've had, and also it's rare to have night bites on here, and it was the biggest common in the lake, known biggest common in the lake. So yeah, who knows? Take from that what you will, and I will catch up with you soon. Well, we'll sign off with this, I think it's about 11, 12 pound, one for the future, but a lovely little sort of broken ling. And yeah, I think we've had the best of it with the bigger fish, but 3 in the morning, last night. A lovely little Westmoor cracker on the Krypton Carp main line, pinged out there at 20 rats on the spot. So anyway, thanks for watching, and catch up with you in a bit. Right, well, good morning. It is well and truly the last morning of what's been a really nice session. So we've had to work for the fish, Just basically baiting, as we spoke about earlier on, baiting up, leaving the rods out, and they can come in and have a feed, or at least observe the bait without any pressure when they weren't really feeding. Yesterday it was so hot you had no chance, so yeah, first morning bite we've had actually. Last night we had one. I thought that was going to be the last bit of the video, to be honest. Little 12-pounder, but this morning, I don't know, it's probably getting on for just gone 8 o'clock. Absolute one toner off the spot, and this fish is angry. I can see this fish giving me some stick, but absolute one toner, and lovely, lovely. Mid double mirror, very fitting way to get the job done, to finish up. Oh, you always know when they go banana-y just to be careful, because he's not happy. And I'm going to sneeze. Ooh. There we go. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed watching. We've tried to cover as many bits as we can. Tried to cover a bit about the fishery. It's been red hot, pretty difficult, to be honest, under the circumstances. But yeah, lovely place to come and catch a few fish. And all the products that we've used have performed really, really well. Done exactly what they should have done. And yeah, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.